This is Dave. This is Lorna's stepfather.
Oh, wow, Dave. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
What do you want to tell us about Lorna?
Well, I was just listening to your comments about the masks and whatnot, and I can't bring them up on my phone, but for a couple of weeks before she passed, she was messaging me to where I work for respirators. She's like, "Dad, can you bring me home some respirators?" And of course, so obviously they weren't supplying them to her. I had to sneak them out of my shop to bring them to her.
That's not right. I mean, this is a millions. This is a well capitalized company. This company is, I think, $1 billion company.
It's just a stupid little mask. You figure this is a multi-million-dollar company, I would think anyway. They're not giving their workers masks. She's begging me to steal masks from my shop. I'm a diesel mechanic for a local bus company, by the way. I'm a welder and fabricator.
So you're a worker.
So I have access to masks. So I would sneak a couple home in my lunchbox and give them to Lorna. So that's how that went. So I know they weren't giving her masks.
Now, I mean, how old was Lorna when she passed away in January?
27.
27. Okay, so she was 27 years
old. Just a kid.
Yeah, just a kid. I mean,
a kid.
Tell us about her. Like, how's the loss affected your family?
Well, I don't know if her mother is listening, but I helped her mother raise this kid. I've known Lorna since she was 4. She's called me dad her whole life. And unfortunately, me and her mother aren't. I mean, tragically, me and her mother aren't together anymore. But I'm 6 feet away from Lorna's room. I mean, Lorna's ashes are in a box, just feet away from me. And I mean, she's here with me every day, and it's wicked tough. It's wicked tough. She shouldn't have gone out like that. All I know is she passed out at work and she lost oxygen, and she had a brain injury and she was dead. She went to work and she didn't come home.
Oh man!
I mean, supposedly it's a very dusty environment in these rooms. I mean, I've never been in one, but supposedly it's very dusty when they're processing this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell me, but I'm not sure.
No, it definitely, that's what we hear from the employees quite a bit, that there's a lot of dust created, and there's a lot of kind of pathogens that can come in the air, different molds and powdery mildews. And
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So, Dave, thank you for calling in. You're the stepfather. You lost your stepdaughter, 27 years old, Lorna. Is there any, is the family pursuing this, like civil suits?
I know that her mother, again, we're not together, but her mother went to OSHA, and she's trying to get OSHA she's trying to file a wrongful death suit against True Leave. And that's all I know right now.
Do you know if she's filed an OSHA complaint?
I believe she did.
Okay,
again, we're not speaking.
That's good to know. I can.
That's a whole another story.
No, yeah, that's for me to get from OSHA. I've got them before with other dispensaries complaints, and yeah. So.
I know that she has a lawyer, and I know that she went to OSHA. That's what I know for a fact.
Okay. Well, we will follow up on that definitely. And this is kind of just, it's so sad. It really is. It just doesn't need to happen. That they weren't giving her mask. It's just, that to me is horrific.
Right. And my kid's in a box now in the next room.
Right.
I mean, what the hell?
I'm really sorry, Dave, that we have to talk on this, about this. But I mean, if we can bring some, justice, kind of to bring up the topic that these dispensaries need much more oversight for all the rest of the employees that are in there right now, and it's almost the exact same situation in hundreds of these locations around Massachusetts.
It sounds like it's pretty hectic from some of the stories she told me. So,
and I'm a cannabis
right.
supporter. Like, I use cannabis. I want it to be good. I don't want it to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I believe in
I used to, I used to, but it's not the same animal as it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's a little different. It is a little different.
And I get drug tested, so I can't weld on school buses and smoke.
You're a welder. That's a totally different. You got a lot of liability there. You probably have higher insurance premiums than I do.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So,
right.
Thank you so much for calling in. I mean, do you want to make any comment too? Just a general. Can you hear me?
I can't say I have too much. I can hear you. I can't say I have too much more to add. But when you started to bring up the issue with the masks, I know for a fact that this place isn't protecting their workers in this environment. I know it for a fact.
Have you? Do you have any kind of? Do you think anything will change for the workers, or do you think that this is just kind of going to get nothing?
that I can't answer. I would hope that something came out of this. Like the very next day, I would hope something came out of this. But I can't answer. I can't answer to that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it took me so long to find out about this. That no other reporter has covered this yet, but we're asking them to. I know that some reporters do watch this show. We're asking you to dig into this, please. Look into it.
Right.
And the same thing with the community, the cannabis community. Thank you so much, Dave, for calling in. I really appreciate you calling in.
You, Mike.
I'm sorry that you lost Lorna.
Thank you.
Anything we could do for you in the future, just let us know, please.
I will. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Wow. Ooh, that was tough. I mean, yeah. The real people, we predicted it, and now we're talking to someone's stepdad. This is why we do this show. People have been questioning us lately. There's no question. This is reality for us. This is like, I thought about not doing this show. I kind of cut back. There's a lot of things going on. I couldn't. I just had. We are so back. This week we have more shows. We got number one, Monday night, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. We're going to be speaking to a Massachusetts State Senate candidate for the Workers' Party, Laura Saylor. We're going to be talking about a lot of police misconduct down there in the South Shore. There's 4 different police officers involved in a really horrific incident with a young minor child who later committed suicide. 4 local police officers, 3 of them in one town, are under fire for inappropriate relationships. It sounds like they had sex with this young minor girl. Welcome to the show. This is Mike Crawford, Young Jerks. That was last night. I think a lot of us are talking about last night. I want to really give a lot of love and support to Dave, who called in last night, the stepdad of Lorna McMurray. I wasn't ready for that call. That was tough. That was tough for all of us. I think it's tough listening. I know a lot of people have reviewed that today, posted about it, shared it. So much going on related to that. So I wanted to just replay, because that was the part of the show where I think everyone wanted to see and hear. Some people heard it. Some people saw some of it. That was it in its entirety. We have a state Senate candidate on the show tonight, as you noticed in that little intro. who we're going to ask about. That's the first question tonight. How do we protect workers? How do we protect workers, especially in the cannabis space, industrial, big cannabis, the manufacturers, the cultivators, the large ones, the multi-state operators? We're not talking about micro grows or SEs. We're talking about the larger industry. How do we protect workers? So let's bring up the candidate because she's in the Workers' Party. She's on the ballot. You can vote for her in November. Massachusetts State Senate. I've known her for quite a while. She's an activist. She covers a lot of different topics we're going to talk about tonight. But I wanted to get, even before she even tells you about herself and her campaign and who she is, I want to know what she thinks about Lorna McMurray and her stepdad, Dave, who called in last night. So let's bring her up and see what she thinks. What's up, Laura Saylor?
Mike, it's so that's so tragic and it's so horrible. And what really got me was this girl's date of birth and how young she is.
27.
I know it. I know it. And I had to turn around and like go out on the balcony, listen to her stepdad talk. It was so sad. OSHA's really, you know, OSHA's really Swiss cheese at the moment. It's I'm seeing this in a lot of different industries. Um, the railway workers are not happy with the deal. The rank and file are not happy with the deal. A lot of people are striking. Trader Joe's, our candidate for auditor, had a run in with the CEO of Trader Joe's this summer, um, and he was, banished from the premises. But just for showing up in support of workers and getting signatures for a workers' party, you know. Um, and this is something that, yeah, it's going to have to be taken on, I think, at a bigger level than just one at a time. And cannabis being a new industry, yeah, I'm hearing a lot about it. I'm hearing a lot about it from people I know that have worked in the industry or might have a job there. Um,
I mean, we predicted
yeah,
this
we
was going to
covered it.
happen. We've been
Yeah,
covering it. And we predicted how long before there's a death,
I'll tell you what.
and here's the death, and here we're talking. I mean, it's shocking. It's like it's one of those stories. I wish we weren't right on. I wish
And you know what's
you
outrageous? You
and
don't you don't
what you said about OSHA, I think is on the mark because we called OSHA. Like they didn't do anything. They
no,
just
they don't.
basically let them come back with written lies, and as long as I mean, OSHA did help us a little bit in terms of the New England Treatment Access because it forced them to be on the record, but they could have done a lot more. And
Yeah,
I think that they're actually starting to do a lot more in the cannabis space, or especially with True Leaf. But it's a little late, and
it
is it
is.
just going to be
One death
one
is too
one
many.
one
One death is
one
too many.
company, or are you going to do it systematic through the entire
In,
industry? Because
in
that's
my
what needs to
opinion,
happen.
yeah, something like this, like it's unacceptable. Like it's just flat out unacceptable. If you're going to have people going into work and you can't bring them, you can't give them masks,
Someone with
you can't
asthma,
help them with what they need to do their job properly.
right?
I mean, it to me, it just it makes my blood boil.
If you were a state senator, what kind of things would you like? What kind of, because we've been hearing that, like, number one, like, what about CPR training, mandatory CPR for all the employees? Because we don't know, but we're assuming that CPR wasn't even tried. Just things like that, like, say, like, even when we're talking to netto workers, there were netto workers who told us that there were more fires than fire drills, and that a lot of the workers didn't even know how to get out of the building in a fire situation, and then there was another fire. So, like, we're predicting things through, not through my ex brains or anything, through the employees who are telling us these things, and that's how we came up with the prediction that someone was going to die. It was through talking to hundreds of employees, and the employees tell us these
Yeah.
common sense things that aren't being done. What would you do if you were state senator to
Well,
make it better for workers in the cannabis space and all these other spaces as well?
well, my gosh. I mean, I would put through so many new strengths to workplace safety because everywhere you go, it's unbelievable. I even had the woman at the Cumberland Farms that manages the Cumberland Farms up the street a couple months ago tell me, the company told me that I can start hiring teenagers. She said, I'm not doing that. She said, it's disgusting. I'm not doing it. And it's really quite startling to see like the tide against workers turn. And it's been going slowly my entire adult life. I've been seeing this happen, but the past couple of years, boy, I thought for sure after COVID, you're not going to leave the OSHA regs in place. No, really? Um, you have got to strengthen. You've got to strengthen workplace safety, and I also strongly support new unions, the Amazon Workers Union, the Starbucks workers, the Trader Joe's workers. I think some of the other bigger unions are at this point, kind of tied too much in with management.
And some of my UFCW friends who definitely have their own, labor interests. Some people call them a monopoly,
Yeah,
but
I've been in UCFW.
for cannabis workers, anyways,
Yeah,
in terms of cannabis workers, because they're pretty much the largest union for cannabis workers. But I find they do great work. I like them a lot, and
they
I've been
are.
working along with them, and they are bringing up labor peace agreements as being like essential, something to really protect workers. They're also pushing a workers' bill of rights for cannabis workers.
Yep.
Are those things that you would support as well? Like and like
Oh my God.
forcing companies to have labor peace agreements, number one.
Oh, that even goes without saying. Absolutely, we would do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're the workers' party, right?
yeah, absolutely, we would do that. To be honest, I think that we would do more for workers than anybody else running. Maybe a few of the green candidates, but yeah, I was a member of UCFW,
Oh, you were.
Stop and Shop, yeah,
I
and
was a Teamster way back. Yeah, go ahead.
they're pretty good. They're not bad as a union. I was happy, but the thing is though with these unions, is the ones that have been a while, the bigger ones, a lot of them grow the union leadership from rank and file employees, but they usually take the employees when they're about middle management somewhere. So you wind up with a lot of nepotism in some of the unions too, which can be a problem.
Absolutely.
But
Any
I'm
organization. I'm gonna say that with any
any
organization.
organization.
That's why I am pretty much anti-organization. And
Yeah,
I don't mean in terms of you should never work with organizations. I work with organizations all the time. For myself, for my show, we're not gonna be part of any org. You know what I mean?
mm-mm,
Just like, because of that, I don't wanna have a boss in this. This is our thing. This isn't,
right there you go.
an organization. Well,
There
I
you
did
go.
that with Masscan for years, and it just it has its organizations are they get things done. They have institutional power, they're organized, there's a need for them, definitely.
That's
There's
right,
a
and
place for them.
that's
But
why we
for yeah,
that's why we formed the Workers' Party because we
yeah.
want people on the left to have a party that represents our values and our views because neither the Democrats nor the Republicans do.
So usually I start when I'm interviewing, but because tonight's a little different, and you have been on the show before too, but
Mhm.
usually we start with right off the bat, we ask about the campaign. Why are you running? Who are you? Tell us about you. But we start a little differently tonight because of Lorna and her stepdad. I mean, we had to play that again. That's what everyone wanted to see tonight. I
Right,
know.
and I mean, it
It's
breaks my heart to hear.
everyone's talking about it today, and we're going to talk more about that tonight as well. But tell us about you, why you're running, why the Workers' Party. What is
Well,
the big issues for you? All that stuff.
I'll tell you what. Back in 2019, right before COVID hit, Christmas, myself and Nick and Casey were sitting around my kitchen table, and we were thinking, what are we gonna end up with? What are they gonna do? I mean, what can the Democrats even offer? And this is ridiculous. And we decided to form the Workers' Party. And we did our program, and we decided we would run candidates because we feel that the left needs their own political power, their own political party. And we did it. We managed to form the party. We had our political designation through the Secretary of State within a year, and we're running three candidates. We're running myself against Paul Feeney in Bristol and Norfolk, 4th District. And we are running Nick Giannone statewide as an auditor candidate. And we are running Brandon Griffin in Plymouth 7 in Whitman. So that's how you get your official party status. And that's what we're up to. But we want to make sure we want to differentiate ourselves from the other two parties. And there is a difference. Quite a few differences. But I would say that we would be a lot more for the workers than either one of them.
Excellent. And there was a couple, my dog's going crazy right now. I think my partner just came in the house or something. She's outside. I might have to take a break and let you just go on about your campaign for a little bit and take care of it. We'll see. But one of the things that you had brought to me was a story. It's about the Mansfield Police Chief Ron Sellon.
Yes, Elmer.
After investigation, this is from the Sun Chronicle. It's after investigation, Mansfield says Police Chief Ron Sellon not fit to serve.
Yep.
And there's a video. I think. Do you want to try to play that video?
I don't know how to do it on here. If you
No, I can't. Do you want me to try?
Yeah, play it. It's funny.
Well, it's going to take me a second, but let's see if I can. I probably can do it.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't remove myself. And
this was the
let's try. Tell us a little bit about this before I, find this and set it up.
It came to our attention that the Mansfield Police Chief was out of the office and getting paid. They had a select board meeting, and it came out in the Sun Chronicle that Steve Schoenfeld, one of the select board members, felt that the public had a right to know where the police chief was. And no one else in the select board nor the town manager wanted that information out. So we in the Workers' Party got together and we drew up these posters of Ron Sellon on a milk carton. It said missing. We did on cardstock. Last seen receiving a $200,000 bonus or whatever. And plastered them all over Mansfield. And Ryan Kath and Shara Stoll at Channel 10 saw them and asked if they could interview us. So when they interviewed us, everybody got upset. And they couldn't put the story away. They had to follow it. Now everybody knows why Ron Sellon wasn't at work and why we were paying 2 police chiefs. And, that's where it is right now. So this video, though, is election night. We showed up.
Play that. I'm going to stop playing that now.
Okay, we showed up on election day and hold our posters up.
Takes a little while before it gets spicy, right?
He's not fit to serve because he has rage attacks. He has a temper problem. Which
you're going to see in this video shortly. I should have jumped it to the part. But for people who don't like to hear a lot of yelling and profanities and swearing, you probably should just step away for a minute or two here. This guy goes nuts.
Fucking stop! Fuck this town! Fuck Mansfield! Fucking pack of fucking useless bullshit! Bunch of fucking useless fucks! You're all a bunch of useless liberal fucks!
All right, there we go. I think we've had enough of that, but you get the idea. He's basically showing up at someone's house and yelling at them and calling them.
Well, no, this is his own front yard.
Oh, that is the home front yard. Okay.
His own front yard. That's his neighbor's Ring video camera. On that video,
I see.
On that video, he threatens to hunt down the children of the select board and the town manager. Town manager doesn't have any children, but he said he'd hunt their fucking children down.
Oh my God.
And I guess the town referred it to the DA, who chose not to do anything. But the fact of the matter is, nobody really, if we didn't get it out there and really push the issue, he'd just be sitting there waiting, getting paid until he gets, however much time in his pension in. But we really pushed it because really this man was police chief since 2013.
He's unfit. I mean, that totally shows you how unfit he is.
This guy constructed his own problem-oriented policing department and posed as a progressive reformer. See, this is why we formed the party.
There you go.
But
a lot of Democrats who are totally conservatives in the state.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm sure that people didn't know that was how he felt.
Yeah.
But what really kind of blows my mind is that he will sit there and he will um, say, "Yeah, I'm still fit to serve. I was just blowing off steam. That was no big deal."
But they're still paying him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
there's
gotta
no self-awareness whatsoever. No self-awareness. None. Like he doesn't think that what he does is a big deal. And if you read the investigation which is available in the Sun Chronicle interviews and all, um, it's like a whole department of like 12-year-old bullies sitting in detention. That's how they operate. It's kind of wild. But he is waiting for they're processing they're figuring out how to process his employment now, is what they're saying. So that's where it is. So like they just declared him unfit to serve, and now they're dealing with how to, I guess, get rid of him. I don't know, but I think he's going to fight it.
Thank you for filling in. I'm having a crazy moment over here
That's all right. That's
with
all
the
right.
dogs. The
I'm
dogs,
just
and
talking, Mike.
I thought my partner was gonna wait to bring these other dogs in. I don't know.
Oh.
We have a dog situation right now, but we'll deal with it. We had a comment from David. David is the stepdad who we interviewed last night
Oh,
of
hi,
Lorna.
David.
He just commented. He said, "Just now tuning in. Don't know what I missed." You missed the replay of your interview, David. We just think you're awesome. You're a great dad, great stepdad, and we're really proud of you. And we want to send you all the love for what you did last night for Lorna, and it means a lot to, I'm sure, her and the whole community and me and everybody, because you're brave, man. You're the
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's outrageous.
So we were talking about that, and we're going to continue to talk about Lorna McMurray, who passed away. She's born in 1994, passed away earlier this year in January 2022. She was a True Leave employee, passed away after a shift at True Leave. She was transported to a medical facility. And as her stepdad said last night, David, he said she never made it home. He said, some really tough stuff last night. He said his daughter is in a box.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be in a box.
She's so young.
So young.
And like for what? It's like for what? $15 an hour?
For no mask.
Yeah. No, they can't even give her a mask. I mean, really, right?
So you're definitely you're running Laura Saylor for Massachusetts State Senate. What cities and towns, what area? Tell us where you're running.
Bristol and Norfolk, and I'm going to tell you why I'm running in Bristol and Norfolk. Number one, I live here. Number two, Paul Feeney is a dedicated, qualified immunity supporter. And I don't think I need to tell you how I feel about qualified immunity.
Well, I think you should tell people, because I don't think
qualified
I know what it is, but probably 50% of our audience knows because they're activists.
Qualified
But
immunity.
a lot of people don't.
Qualified immunity is what I like to call a loophole that lets usually police, but other municipal employees, government employees off too. When they commit egregious conduct, you can't go after them. They get basically a different level of justice than the rest of us. And I just think that everybody, I don't care if you're a government employee, who you are, you do something egregious, you need to be held accountable. Maybe we'd have a better government if we held people accountable, but we don't like to do that. So that's why I am going against Paul Feeney. Paul Feeney is also not the best on climate change. Like he supports, opening new leases, and he supports all of that. But the main thing is his dedicated, qualified immunity support, and his votes usually in favor of police, what the police unions want. So that was my reason for deciding to run in my district. Do I think I'll win? No. I have no.
Well, let me ask you this, because sometimes It's not actually about winning the campaign. It's about actually winning the campaign of ideas.
That's
It's
what
being
we're doing. That's what we're
winner.
losing.
You
Yeah.
know, if he takes on a lot of these issues in the end because he has to. I mean,
I
that's a
don't think
win.
I don't think he ever will. But I
Yeah.
think that what the big deal is though is that we get this out in the public and the public sees that, you know, no, there are other options. You know, do things have to be this way? No, they don't. You know, maybe think about this. And that's how you grow a movement, really. You know, plus you want to be able to say to people next election or whatever, well, what do you want us to vote for? Well, okay, here we are. We have a political party, a political home for you.
We have a phone number. People can definitely call in tonight. If you have a question for the candidate, call in 978-560-3155. Maybe you want to talk about the story of the day around here or probably the year. Lorna McMurray, what we've been covering, what we broke last night on our show. Maybe you want to talk about her stepdad, Dave, like I do. He's a great guy, deserves all of our support. We have mad love for Dave. He had a lot of courage last night and showed a lot of love for his daughter to do that. And if you want to call in, you have any comment, 978-560-3155 is the phone number. You can do so. We're with Laura Saylor. She's running for Massachusetts State Senate. She's a Workers' Party candidate. She's going up against the incumbent Democrat, Paul Feeney. If you want change from Feeney, Laura's here. And Laura, you must be talking to a lot of folks on the campaign trail right now. What are some of the other issues besides, police qualified immunity, besides the green stuff? Housing. Okay.
Housing. Now Brandon Griffin, our candidate in Whitman, he's already on the city council. He sits on the planning board. And he also works with a lot of rental assistance and anti-eviction organizations out there. So we're trying to do the whole gamut. We have people doing climate change, and that's Ed and Hopkinton, Ed and Zach. They've got a lot going on there. We've got people out in Western Mass. Most of the people in Western Mass, Greenfield defunded their police this year by $400,000.
And what do they do with that money?
They're going to reallocate it
To what? Education?
the services. Well,
Library? What? Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure exactly where, but I don't know where they reallocated it, but it was going to go to actual, like they have a lot of opioid services in Greenfield, things like that.
Yep.
Because their police chief, they just let the police chief come back, but a black officer sued them for discrimination and won. So that's how they got to defund them by $400,000 in their budget as well. And they had to let go of, I think, 7 or 8 younger officers who were junior officers. There's really not a need for them. See, that's the thing. We don't need as many as we have. And if you read the investigation in the Sun Chronicle, you're going to see that the way these departments are run is just like, it's so dysfunctional. We're seeing it in Stoughton. And I'd like to say that with Lorna, the reason Chief Sellon came to light was also a workplace issue. He was bullying his coworkers.
That's right.
So like all of this stuff is tied in together.
Yeah, you see that a lot. A lot of stuff gets broken because of worker abuse.
Convictions. Right. It's all of this stuff is tied in together.
We're talking to Laura Saylor. She's running for Massachusetts State Senate in Massachusetts. Again, I said that twice. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. And I have no delusions that I'm going to win. None.
What's your website? You have a website. You have a Facebook. I know that.
Tell people. Senate at nationbuilder.com. Yeah. And we got the Workers' Party website. Our signs are all Workers' Party signs, generic Workers' Party signs, because that's what we can afford.
And you're on Twitter as well?
Yep.
Instagram?
No
No Instagram.
I'm a nana. I stopped at Facebook and Twitter.
We're the
But-
Young Jerks. My name is Mike Crawford. This is Laura Saylor. She's running for Massachusetts State Senate. We're taking your questions. You talked about housing. What are some of the things that could help on the housing issue? What are your solutions?
Well, so there's got to be right now. Well, especially I think it was a mistake for them to let go of the eviction moratorium with COVID. A big mistake. There wasn't enough financial help out there. I think that we have enough places for people to live. We just have to figure out how to get it to them. Obviously, sweeping the streets is no answer. That's cruel and inhumane. And I just don't understand why there seems to be plenty of buildings and we can't house these people. We're paying 2 police chiefs in my town. I'm sure that you could take one of those salaries and probably house half the homeless population of Mansfield with it for a year. It's a question of where how you budget things is what you value. What you prioritize is what you value. And I don't think in state, local, or federal government that regular people are being valued.
I love all that.
They're not.
Yeah, like everything you said about the priorities, about what
Like
you
with the run
prioritize.
selling stuff, Mike.
But okay, go ahead.
What's weird about that is that we have support from people across the political spectrum
Right.
on that. And that's what you need to do. You need to come together with people and have solidarity and, get this stuff done. That's how people have conversations.
Right. I think everyone, left and right, doesn't like corruption, especially police corruption.
Right.
And, shady stuff from, at the top, the management, especially police chiefs who make good money should be professional.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I got to learn the cough button there. New thing to learn in the studio here.
You have a cough button?
I think so. Usually they have one on. Yeah, I do actually. I could actually have used that, but yeah.
That's pretty cool.
AAF always had a cough button. Our cough button is different though. It's not a cough button. It's I don't know. I got to make sure that is actually a cough button before I touch it. But anyways, we got new equipment here. We're learning it. I just did an amazing new thing yesterday, which on last night's show. So I feel much clearer speaking now. I was having some issues with the headphones and hearing myself versus the guest, and everything's working great now. I feel really relaxed actually with the equipment for the first time.
Oh, it was very easy to go in and join.
Yeah. But I want to get back to that what you were talking about, the eviction moratorium.
Oh yeah.
Because for me, I didn't really like the eviction moratorium, and the reason why I feel like it set people up. Like it's
yeah, because
you're gonna tell people that they don't have to pay rent, and then eventually they have to pay the rent, or they're gonna get evicted,
right,
and then they can't get a new place because they have an eviction. Like it's like, and I don't like you said it to extend it. I don't like that either though, because I feel like you can't just extend, you can't just not pay rent forever to people, expect the building to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I agree.
So how do we deal with these issues, I guess, more rationally, long term versus just trying to do what we did this time? Yeah.
I think you've also got to put a moratorium on LLCs buying up properties. I think you've got to, I think there's got to be a moratorium on that for a while. Owen Broadhurst was over visiting last week, and he was looking through the Holyoke daily paper. 2 pages of properties that were ready to go into tax foreclosure the next day. The majority of them were owned by LLCs, probably never paid a dime, right? Bought them up, made some money, and now the city will get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we put a moratorium on that for quite some time.
What about another thing? I did, covered some protests for City Life. Vita Urbana does really good stuff. And these tenants that we went to see, like they were getting like 100% rent increases overnight when a new larger property owner came in and bought their small building. would you support something like limiting rent increase where
Oh,
you can
yeah.
say like,
Oh, my God.
you only can have your rent go up 20% a year or whatever it is? What would the number be? Like
I wouldn't.
yeah,
God. Yeah.
yeah.
It'd
You'd have to look into it, but you'd
look
support
into it.
something like that because
Oh, my God.
100% rent increase does not
Yeah,
seem
because
fair
I
to an
got
existing.
I had a coworker come to me 2 years in a row. She got a $500 a year, $500 a month rent increase 2 years in a row. It's $1,000 rent increase in 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, the place next door, they went
Is
up.
that legal? Could we do that even if the state passed something that like that? I'm wondering if it's even legal.
What for them to
To
price?
limit the price increase, yeah. To
Well, I
say
think
you can't.
you'd have to do some legislation to make that
Yeah,
happen. Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting.
it is. And it's
I
like the complex across next door to me. They have some subsidized units, but some of them are not. And they have 2 swimming pools.
we got a call. Let's see who it is.
And
Hello.
it's really quite.
Is this the Young Jerks?
It is, but you have your radio on. I don't know why that keeps happening. Tell whoever was calling, please call back, but turn your stream off your phone first. Like you got to turn it off because anything on your phone will come through. I believe that's the issue for people. He's gonna try again. We'll see if we can take him.
Hello.
Really?
You there? Let's go. Who's this?
Yes, this is Dave.
Oh, what's up, Dave?
I called. How you doing? This is Mike.
Yes, it is.
Hey, just listening. I'm watching your podcast right now. I'm listening to Laura Saylor and yourself talking about about CPR training. And when my daughter went down on the floor at True Leave, her mother and I wondered why people were standing around. Did anyone know CPR?
Someone should
And it
know
was. We think it's a huge. Hello.
Someone should definitely be
Hello?
knowing CPR.
Yeah, I can hear you. It looks like we're getting a little feedback coming in from somewhere.
All right. All right.
Keep
Well,
talking.
it would appear that no one. It would appear that no one there knew CPR. I think we think it was a huge factor of why Lorna died the way she did. We weren't there in the room, obviously, but people. I could only imagine that people were standing around panicking while Lorna was not breathing. Okay. I mean, when my wife went to go pick her up, when my wife pulled into the parking lot of Truly, Lorna was in an ambulance, and as far as we know, she was given CPR for 11 minutes, and it was too late at that point. She had already lost too much oxygen, and she had suffered a brain injury. And we believe that people there did not know CPR. There's different facets of this story that haven't all been told, but that's just part of it. The mask and the CPR thing is just different. There's different parts of this.
Thank you, Dave, for calling in again tonight. Thank you for letting
All
us
right.
know about this.
Yeah, I'm paying attention. I'm watching what you're doing.
Thank you. You're I hope you know how people really support you and love you.
I appreciate that. But you know, I really do. It's just too bad after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
All right, Mike.
Have a good night, Dave. Thank you so much.
All right, brother.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Dave.
There was a little bit of feedback. I don't know if we got to figure that out because this happened last night with his phone and then it didn't happen. And it could be us, it's funny.
He's right though about CPR. There should be someone in that workspace that knows CPR.
Absolutely.
I mean,
to hear that, to hear him talk
OSHA.
about that now, like
That's a degradation of OSHA over our lifetimes. And this is where we're at.
You're an industrial site. You should have CPR training.
Yep. Basic first aid, at least, in CPR. Yep.
Mm.
And I mean masks.
Yeah.
And so you've got to, like, if you're working in a poultry farm, if you're working in a grow place, if you're working always you should have a mask.
You should.
No.
We're the Young Jerks. We're taking your phone calls. That again was, for people that don't know, that was Lorna's stepdad. Again, we weren't expecting his call tonight, and he just takes my breath away. Like every time he calls, it's like, it's really hard to talk about, man. This is his stepdaughter who, like he said, her ashes are right next to him. They're sitting right there. She's 27 years old. He brought her up since she was a young little girl. Real
Yeah.
stuff we're talking about, right? Right, Laura?
That's
Did you
right.
expect it to be so sad tonight on the show?
I did not. I was really
Me
looking
neither.
forward to chatting with you.
We can have fun.
Laughing
We
with
can
you.
still laugh. I mean, we still have fun on the show. We always have fun. We've been on like an upswing, having fun lately. So, we gotta have some fun somehow.
Well, before we have fun, we'll go.
Are we gonna
into-
smoke some weed together? You smoke cannabis. Can we say that, or is that off the record? Did I just out you? Oh, you are. You're already smoking. You're vaping.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. We're cool.
We
Even
are.
though we're getting up there in age, we're still kind of, we got something going on.
We were talking. I was talking to some neighbors about this summer. It's like you're seeing like senior citizens getting high everywhere, and I'm so here for that. It's awesome.
It's what if I ever live to 100, I'll be big on TikTok. I'm gonna like be the 100-year-old that smokes the joint still.
I know it. It's true. I mean, you see middle-aged, older people out there all the time.
We're the Young Jerks. You can call in 978-560-3155, or you can send an instant feedback on our stream. Looks like quite a few people are watching. Not as many comments tonight, though, but we appreciate all the people listening. We appreciate all the reshares. What I notice a lot now, too, is that all the comments come like the moment we end the show. I'll go look and I'll be like, look at all these comments we didn't even see. I don't know, I don't know if StreamYard picks them up that quickly. Honestly, all the comments that we get to post up here, but it's always great when we get to post the comments. We've also had some great like reviews lately and reshares of our show. A couple shows. Last night's show got a lot of replays, reviews, people sharing it, as well as the Shalene Title, Aiden Coffee, and Chris Goldstein, the Cannabis Roundtable show. Those are like, people are really happy with those shows. I'm happy with those shows as well. I mean, I'm not 100% happy because there's still some technical issues always, but we're getting there. And mostly the technical issues are me. So I know I can fix me.
You've come a long way from what was it, 2015 or something. Your show's come a long way.
It's changed a lot. It's weird. Yeah. We had our ups and downs again. You know what I mean? It's been going so long now. So many eras of it. But this feels like we're on to something new lately. This is like the last month, the last 2 weeks, even this week. We've been doing the show for 8 years. We've never done 3 shows and a podcast in 1 week. We're doing that this week. We're doing 3 live shows. This is live show number 2.
Well, I had no idea when I decided to run for office that so much was going to hit the fan during my campaign, like in my district, like with Chief Sellen.
And that's what about these other cops too that we mentioned that I mentioned?
Oh man, that's Stoughton.
Is that in your district as well? What is that? Stoughton? Where is that?
What's right outside my district?
What town? Stoughton, is it?
Canton's in my district, but Stoughton is not. Yeah.
Okay.
There were 4 of them that abused this woman from the time she was 15 years old. I have no words, and got away with it for that long. People really got to start paying attention to what's going on in their towns. You start paying attention, you see some pretty awful stuff. Like if you really just, look a little bit past the surface, you see some stuff. I guarantee you.
They always talk about the right wingers now. It's the groomers. It's like, oh, well, where are they on the police grooming? Where are they on the Catholic Church grooming? Where are they on the Mormon
Young
grooming? Where?
Explorers
Yeah,
program.
I know. Where are they
Taking
young?
these troubled kids
Yeah,
and training them to be cops.
yeah.
And look what they did to that girl.
They don't talk about the groomers in that case. Like, it's just strange.
And how many of them knew about it and never said anything?
They passed that girl around too. Like
I know they
they
did. They were
passed.
I know they did. Yeah.
That's really sick. Like, that's just
And it makes you wonder how many of their friends are in on this stuff. You know what I mean?
right.
Because they all run in the same social circles. They do. Um, it's people really need to start paying attention and paying attention that the people that you vote for say, what are they doing once they get in office? Are they doing what I wanted them to? What they said they were going to do? Are they even trying? Or are they doing the opposite? All these things are important. Um, I have no delusions that I'm going to win. But I think it's important that people have options because what we have now just isn't working.
And so you're going to be on the November ballot. And people
Yes.
can vote for you for Massachusetts State Senate.
Yes.
We talked about some of the issues, workers' rights, green, I guess green energy or
Eco-socialism, yes.
yeah. Well, tell us more about that. Like, what does it mean for you? What kind of things would you like to see happen in Massachusetts around that issue?
Well, in Massachusetts, I mean, just as much as we can do right now, we have a whole eco-socialist caucus that's got they're doing a lot of good work in Holbrook. Ultimately, you're going to need eco-socialism because the climate can't sustain the growth needed under capitalism. That's how we view it. In the meantime, though, certainly no drilling, certainly none of the Four River Bridge type of Kings Cove type of, oil things, none of that. But it seems to just be going on still. We're experiencing climate change. And we're still extracting fossil fuels. And you'd think we'd have figured it out by now, right? It's just kind of where I'm at on it.
Again, our telephone number, if anyone wants to call in, you got it there on the screen. I'm going to put it up right back up on the screen. It's 978-560-3155. I need to memorize this one now. I changed it to 978 this time because I knew if it was a 617 number, I would say like one of the old numbers because I would get them in my brain. I would just, so now I'm 978. 978 see, I still did it though. 978-560-3155. If you want to call in and get a question for Laura Saylor, you want to talk about any of our content, maybe about workers' rights, maybe about the dispensaries in Massachusetts, maybe you're a worker somewhere or an ex-worker in the industry and you're not happy, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. You don't even have to use your real name either. If you want to be, I don't know, Tommy Chong, for instance, be Tommy Chong. We don't care. Like, just don't be Mike Crawford or Laura Saylor because we're already on the show. We already have those names tonight. You can be any other name. Be Mike Dukakis. Giving you all kinds of names. I'm just coming up with names. How about Doug Flutie? I don't know. I'm coming up with some other ones too, maybe. Dan Gable. I'm coming up with sports guys now. 978-560-3155. Maybe you can be like a fake big dispensary guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
My name is Mike Crawford. We're with Laura Saylor. She's running again for Massachusetts State Senate. We've talked a lot. We talked about the True Leaf cultivation workers' death that raised questions. We've gotten some of our questions answered by her stepdad tonight and last night. Some breaking information about the CPR we brought up. It's pretty wild story we're covering. We're going to continue to cover it. There's also been an OSHA. We talked about that on last night's show that we'd be looking into the OSHA complaint. I think before I even uploaded the iTunes, before I even edited that up, someone had sent me the OSHA complaint who had listened to it last night. So it was like, our audience is amazing. I love you folks. You guys are researching it as much as we are. A lot of our friends and comrades in the labor movement are helping out as well. And there's just a lot of other people too behind the scenes. I want to thank Kim Napoli too, especially for helping out throughout this. Looking forward to Thursday night. We're going to have a big show with Kim Napoli on the show, as well as Carolyn Pino from STEM Haverhill. It's going to be another cannabis episode. Got a lot to talk to them about. I don't even know where we're going to start because there's so much to talk about. So I'm not even going to tease it. Just going to say, if you like cannabis, Kim Napoli and Carolyn, I mean, it's going to be an amazing show on Thursday night. You're not going to want to miss it. Believe me. My name is Mike Crawford. Again, we're with Laura Saylor from Massachusetts State Senate. I guess give us your final pitch on why people should vote for you over Paul Feeney on the ballot.
I think that people should just take a look at what I stand for, what my positions are versus Paul Feeney's. And if you prefer mine, if you prefer no more qualified immunity, if you prefer reallocating police funding to things that the community could better use. I know in Mansfield, we could use a community center for, for kids when they get out of school, have a place to go. We don't have that. We have the tax base for it. We don't have it. Every place could use a crisis management department that's separate from the police. To me, that's very important. I don't think the two belong together. They've tried that in Northampton and Amherst, and they're having some success with it. He would prefer adding more money to police. I am for not taking any more fossil fuel out of the ground. He is for keeping up pipelines. So, take a look. And if you want to, vote for me. I have no delusions that I'm going to win. But at least listen to what we have to say. And if you like what we have to say or you agree with one of our positions, let us know. We have working groups on all kinds of subjects, from police brutality, from political prisoners, climate, rent, and landlord and tenant issues. We have a labor working group going on. There's a lot of ways to get involved. And, we just like to meet you. And like I said, with the chief selling stuff too, we've received support from all factions of the political spectrum. We're very far left, but we've, heard support from people
Who are conservative,
all across the spectrum.
in the middle.
You know what? You're right about that. Yeah. So, take a look. Don't write us off. Take a look at us. I know that Nick Giannone, he's run for office before. I think he'd make a fabulous auditor. I don't think there'd be a better auditor than Nick. Nick would be on people. Nick.
I got to have Nick back on. He was a good kid. He was a good interview last time too. He's very fiery. He very strong. It's funny too, because we've actually had the other two auditor candidates, the Anthony Amori, who won the Republican primary, and we've also had the Democratic primary winner, State Senator Diana DiZoglio. And but behind the scenes, I'm going to give everyone a little, WGBH has been talking about how they can't host an auditor debate without having all five candidates. Are there five candidates? Are there really five, or are they just saying
I'd have to double check with Nick.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that's my guy.
But we're also in the negotiation. Maybe it's you know what I think it is? I think that none of the candidates want to do WGBH. Let's just say that. But they all want to do our show. They all want to come on this show. We're gonna have a debate on this show. That's what we're actually trying to work on it, negotiate it.
I would love it if you put him in there with a debate. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to try to get, we've already talked to Diana. I'm going to hit her up again. And she's the one who makes the decision. You know that, whether it happens. But even if she says no, then I'm going to ask Anthony. You know what I mean? We'll have a second and third party debate, I guess. We're going to do something. We'll see.
Yeah. We just want our voice heard. Because
and you know why? Because we're better than GBH.
You are. And
all the candidates would rather have fun here with us than be on GBH.
That's right.
That's the reason, Jim Brody. It's because you're not fun like we are.
That's right. And I mean, I think that would be great. You'd have all the candidates together. They could debate. I think Nick would do awesome, because I just think he'd be a bulldog auditor. He'd be, that's what we need.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll
Brandon, of course, already serving on the town council in Whitman. He's on the planning board.
We shall see what happens. We're going to do a lot more shows, and we're going to have a lot more campaigns on. Definitely would like to get you back on right before the election too.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much tonight, Laura. Anything last that you want to leave the audience before you
No,
check out?
it was a pleasure. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If, just ask, we'll answer.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you. And you know what? I really, Lorna's family, my God, I couldn't believe 1994 was her year of birth. And Mike, you're around my age. You're a little younger than me, but you've seen workers' protections, workplace protections just go downhill.
Big time.
It makes you angry. It really enrages you. It's unbelievable. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Laura Saylor, running for Massachusetts State Senate. She's going to be on the ballot in November. You can vote for her in Massachusetts. She's got a lot of things she wants to change, and workers' rights is one of the top ones. So check her out. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Excellent. Good night. We're the Young Jerks. I'm going to stick around for a couple more seconds. I mean, we are going to check out of here. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting the show, sharing the show. I want to thank Carmelita. Again, thank Kim Napoli for helping out too with last night's show, especially giving me the heads up on that. And I want to just note we broke some more news tonight about the Lorna McMurray situation, the True Leave worker who passed away in January. She collapsed at her workplace, was taken, I'm assuming by ambulance, to a medical center where she passed away. She never made it home. We've heard from her stepdad twice now, once last night, once tonight's show. He basically, just basically confirmed what our fears were, that no one knew CPR around Lorna when she collapsed. And he definitely made some statements about that. So a lot happening on that. It's I just got to give it to him for just continuing to call in on the show and to really just want to speak up for her. So big love to Dave, stepdad Dave of Lorna. We're the Young Jerks. Mike Crawford will be back on Thursday night with Kim Napoli and Carolyn Pino from STEM Haverhill. I want to thank everyone for supporting us, subscribing to us. Please, if you haven't subscribed to us on the iTunes or wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube, iTunes, make sure you're hitting that sub button. And if you can, if it's there, rate it and like us and follow us and do all that good stuff for us. And thank you for sharing it. I know a lot of you have been sharing it this week. Thank you so much. We're the Young Jerks. We'll see you on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Mike Crawford.